That's the yodeling pickle.
Well,
that's a. I'd have to, I can't think of anything off the top of my head that would immediately slide in above that for best guest entrance into the show. I think that does the yodeling pickle have a name?
The yodeling pickle.
It just is the yodeling.
Exactly. It's just a yodeling pickle. Some things you don't know what it is. This, it's a pickle, and the pickle yodels. It's simple.
I woke up this morning like, hey, we're going to talk to Keith Murphy on a podcast, and I did not expect a pickle to show up.
Yodeling pickle was nowhere on the radar.
Excuse me, a yodeling pickle.
Yodeling pickle was nowhere on the radar. No.
Don't shortchange the yodeling. It's not just a pickle. You may have somebody else on the show with a dill pickle. This one yodels.
I mean, it's honestly pretty good yodeling too. I have no complaints about the quality of said yodeling.
Thank you.
Yes.
And anybody who's watching, don't ask where the yodeling pickle came from because it does not matter.
It doesn't matter. Because I was interested in purchasing one for myself. And he's like, it doesn't matter. Feels like a black market yodeling pickle. I don't know where he got it. Smuggled it from some foreign country. I don't know where it came from. But anyways, so welcome everybody to the Nightcap, another episode. I'm Levi Stevenson, joined once again by Matthias Schwarzkopf and child producer Aiden Wyatt, as well as our wonderful guest Keith Murphy, who has I hit the mic. It's Keith Murphy, who showed up and is hopefully more professional at doing this than we are.
I'm glad to be here. I'm a fan of Wide Right, Natty Light. I like the combination of sports, pop culture, and irreverence, and you've done that very well. So it's nice to be here. Thanks for asking me.
Well, we appreciate it. It's kind of an odd niche that we've had to slide into, but it seems like we've done okay. I don't know if we slid into it so much as we kind of get in there and create some elbow room and just kind of made our own thing. But and actually one of the things, the part of the irreverent thing too, is we had obviously had a little bit of a dust up there a few weeks ago with the University of Iowa. And speaking of the author of said article, Mr. Jake Bren checking in. He says, "Hey, boss."
Oh, I thought he was talking to one of you.
Well, I mean, very well could be. I don't know.
I'm assuming he's talking to you, but
he did come back with the bosses right after that. So.
He did say bosses. Yes. So
okay. That probably is you.
Jake Bren's entire employment.
He's been an intern for us. He's done a fine job.
It's Keith. I'll be honest with you. We are okay with slandering Jake Brand if we need to do that.
Okay, he has sucked. I mean, I don't know if this is unfiltered or if I'm supposed to say the PC thing. It's a very confusing time in 2021. He's been awful. We don't know how to get rid of him. The only thing we have going for us at this point is it's a short internship. But like Sears is on vacation this week. He didn't even go anywhere. He just stayed home because he needed a week away from Jake.
Just a truly awful intern.
Well, we've been trying to get rid of him. We thought sending him over to you would get rid of him, but he's still, in our chat. He just doesn't go anywhere.
He doesn't leave.
No, I know. We're having the same problem. We hope that he will. We don't pay him. It's not like he's there for the money.
Well, we've never paid him either.
I don't know. Well, hey, this is good training for sports, though. He wants to get in this world, get used to doing a few things you're not paid for.
Yeah. That is definitely the reality coming up through the career. So I wanted to kind of touch base because you're from Florida, correct? Originally.
I was born in Vermont originally, and then moved in second grade to Florida and then to Iowa.
Okay.
Like all logical progressions.
Yeah, I said that is the most logical place to just continue to move throughout your life. Yes. Vermont to Florida to Iowa.
What is the best thing about Vermont?
Leaving.
Leaving.
Yeah. There's not many people there. Snow skiing. I grew up snow skiing. Instead of having babysitters, my parents would often take my sister and I, just drop us off at Mount Snow, and we just ski all day. And then they'd come and pick us up. Yeah, it's a really large. It's where Dan Patrick vacations.
Huh.
Mount Snow.
Mount Snow. It's called. Yeah, it's Mount Snow. Hey, look it up, Doubting Levi.
This feels like a fake story. I don't know.
Snow it's in Vermont. It's a real thing. I'm located in the Green Mountains, Levi.
It must be the same guy. Must be the same guy. It's located in the Green Mountains. Must be the same guy that named that named the fireplace. Just like that's just what it is.
It makes sense. After all, Vermont is the Green Mountain State. There's not a lot of creativity there. Somebody just went, yeah, it's green.
That's the one that's got snow.
It's a mountain, Green Mountain State. You know what else is named well?
What's
the yodeling pickle.
The yodeling
the yodeling pickle. Wait, that's just a great name for a pickle that yodels. It's a pickle. It yodels. Oh God.
How is that not made a live newscast yet?
I'm surprised that hasn't made a show yet.
It has been on the newscast.
Has it
Thanks
been?
for watching.
Damn.
You exposed us. You exposed us.
What kind of research you guys got? Jake Bren doing your that's right, you
yes, that is exactly who was doing our research. That's why we have trash ass research.
Yeah, never
freaking
mind.
Jake.
That's why we send them to you.
That is why we send them to you.
You guys familiar, speaking of Florida, with the fake like Diet Pepsi cans you can get and wrap around beer cans?
I have seen those. Yeah, it's for like the high school kids that want to drink at the campfire. Yeah, is that what you're doing?
I have a follow up about the Pepsi.
Okay.
I read in your bio on WHO's website that you often drink a glass of half Diet Pepsi. Half
I saw
milk.
that.
What is that about?
Well, I did it for much of my life. I haven't been doing it for years, which tells me they need to update my bio. When I went to Italy years ago with my wife and some friends, I started drinking coffee, and I reached my 40s without drinking coffee. So since I started drinking coffee, I no longer do that. But that used to be what I'd have for breakfast each morning. It would be a half Diet Pepsi and a half milk, and it tastes like a root beer float, kind of. So yeah, I did.
Boy,
that
I am really amassing a list of things to do here. I got yodeling pickle,
yodeling
Diet
pickle
Pepsi and milk now.
Pepsi and milk.
and look up Mount Snow.
And Mount Snow. I've already taken care of one of those. Now I just need to get the yodeling pickle bot and the or found, I guess, since it's kind of a it's like barefoot almost, but now I got Diet Pepsi and milk.
Next wide right YouTube video is Matthias skiing down Mount Snow with a yodeling pickle and a glass of Diet Pepsi and milk. Just
you can put that on pay-per-view.
Oh, excellent.
People are always wanting me to get hurt, so it's might as well just try this.
I feel like it's mostly me. I don't know. I feel like I've put about 6 different hits out, and I put one out on Chris Williams today. I told him I offered. Well, actually, it was funny. Brent Bloom actually upped my offer. I offered $20 and a crisp high five to any linebacker that would tackle Chris Williams in his driveway, and Bloom chucked in an entire $100 to top on top of that.
I feel like somebody would do it for free, but
I would
if they can. Yeah, they can make some money. A linebacker can do it now,
right,
and not even be violating a rule.
Yeah, well, yeah,
that's
100%.
I got $100 to tackle Chris Williams. $100
and a crisp high five.
That's not a violation.
Right.
Yeah, it's a new world.
Someone tried to see if Yasheem Young would do it, and I said I want to scare him. I don't want to put him in the hospital. But yeah. So I part of that bio is that apparently needs to be updated. It was that
apparently.
So I did a little bit of because it doesn't actually say it in your bio, but I backtracked. I did digging. I hired a private investigator. Did you go to Valdosta State?
I did.
Bam.
Yes. That's in Georgia.
Yes.
And it's on the Florida-Georgia line, but back before those guys captured the magic of douche country. But it's right on the Florida-Georgia line on the Georgia side. And on Sundays, we would have to drive over to the Florida side to get any beer because they didn't sell it in Georgia on Sundays, at least back when I was in college. That was a long time ago. Valdosta State University is where I went, and the high school football team there, they call it Wintersville, USA, because they pride themselves on supposedly winning the most mythical high school football national championships. So they get bigger crowds. They get bigger crowds at the high school football games than they did for, at least when I was there, for the college football games. And Valdosta State has won a few national championships since then in football. But it's high school crazy down there.
Huh. So what were you a quarterback then?
I was a quarterback in high school and a free safety. And when I played for a short time at Valdosta before I had sense knocked into me, I was moved to receiver because I'm short. Well, short by football standards. I'm 5'10". Let's go around the room. How tall are you?
6'1".
5'9".
Yeah, there you go.
Me and Keith are short kings. No big deal.
Yeah, that's right. But back then, I called myself 5'11", or if I was really trying to be impressive, I would say 6 feet. But I've been 5'10" for a long time. I don't know why we exaggerate our heights.
Jared Larson with the stat pull of the century. Passed for 742 yards your senior year. People forget. Jared Larson doesn't forget, though.
Geez. Thanks, Jared Larson. So, yeah, that's not a real impressive. That's like a game these days. In the modern football game, that's like, Brock Purdy had, what do you have, 700 yards this past weekend? That was my senior year. I threw 3 interceptions in a quarter once. Not everybody's done that.
Your bio says 2 in a quarter. So which one were you lying about?
Well, I'm getting older, so now I'm trying to stretch it out. 3. It'll be 4 by the end of this.
I was gonna say it's the dumbest fish story ever, where your fish is just bad things that keep getting more.
Yeah, I thought it was 3, but that could be memory. It was a bad quarter. I know that.
Oh, we've got another poll from second team all county. Is that correct? Do you know that?
I don't know that. Where's this research coming from?
Where are you pulling?
I legitimately have no idea where Jared is pulling.
He's got a website. Yeah, newspapers.com.
There's a non-zero chance he's actually at your boyhood home and has dug out newspapers that were lost under rugs and things like that.
Oh, if he is, ask him if he could get my Johnny Bench baseball card out of the third brick to the left in the shed, because I forgot to get it when we moved.
There you go, Jared.
Find on it. We should be interesting that we just call the number for your old house and just see if they found it. See if the same person lives there.
I'm getting really nervous about this research that's being done. So far, it's been almost positive, but I don't know if you guys want to know this.
Yeah. Whatever you're making. If you're saying, I don't know if you want to know this, and you're making that face and those noises, we absolutely want to know what it is.
Well, second team all county, it's not going to get bigger than that. Second team all county. It was Florida. I mean, that's good football there, right?
Respectable. Yeah.
Jeez, yeah.
He says he's just reading the Orlando Sentinel.
There you go.
Just casually on a Thursday night.
Friggin' Jared. So the great part about our research team is that we miss all of the really obvious stuff, but we find your deepest, darkest secrets.
Oh, wow. So this is gonna be a
so Keith, we know about
lot of time filling from the pickle.
We know about
I'm gonna have to go. We
know about the body, Keith.
That was the last intern.
So after you got the sense knocked into you, apparently by Jesse Tuggle, per your story on
that's
your bio.
Correct.
There you go.
Yeah, he's way before your time, but he actually ended up being a fine linebacker for the Falcons. Did you know his kid is in the NFL right now? Did not.
Grady Jarrett is his son. Defensive tackle for the Falcons. Yeah. Grady Jarrett is Jesse Tuggle's
that information. Son. No, Jesse Tuggle is one of the nicest guys. He always felt bad about knocking me into broadcasting, but he shouldn't have. I was out there as a tackling dummy, and I fulfilled my purpose that day. But yeah, he knocked me senseless. I was in the hospital, woke up with a really bad concussion, bad neck, got out of there. I still was somewhat upright, but I was not destined for any college football greatness. So I don't want to make it sound like Jesse Tuggle cost me years of glory. I just loved playing. I mean, I was second team all county. I don't have to tell you guys.
I'd say really.
You don't have to prove us anything. We already know you're legit.
Maybe the most accomplished athlete that we've had on this podcast.
I hope not.
Actually, genuinely, maybe the least most. No, John Walters didn't play. That's right. That's about it. Second least accomplished athlete. I didn't mean to dunk on you, but
and that you kind of
dunked
did
on John more than me. I didn't finish in last.
That is true. That is true. Did you? So were you gonna try to get into sportscasting before before you kind of got forced to do it, or was it a change of heart and said, okay, I still want to stay in sports and I want to keep doing that, or what? How did you know?
Well, I was not in sports broadcasting at that time, and or guys as young as you are, this will seem odd, but this is before ESPN had really come onto the scene, and it really had not even occurred to me that you could. I don't know why, but I hadn't really even thought of a sports broadcasting career. I grew up watching sports, and like many people, I would call my own games in the driveway when I was playing, and I was obsessed with sports. If anything, I wish I could go back in time and relax a little bit and not take myself and sports so seriously. But no, that was not my major. And then when I got knocked out of football, one of the assistant coaches suggested that maybe I start doing the games for the campus television station. So I started doing football and basketball games and the studio show that we had there at Valdosta. And I loved it immediately. It changed my major, and I was just terrible. I mean, I was bad. And the local ABC affiliate, they had their sportscaster, their sports director, he left, and they asked me to come and audition for the job there. And I went and auditioned, and I was so nervous and I was so terrible that I got to the car. I mean, and I'm not being falsely humble here. I was terrible. I couldn't calm my nerves. And I got to the car, and I just felt this sense of, oh man, I blew it. I blew it. And I was only starting my junior year of college. So it's not like I should be getting the ABC sports director job anyway. Sports director is a one-person department. That makes it sound like a bigger job than it was. But I worked up the nerve, and this is not easy for me, but I worked up the nerve to walk back in and say, I can do better than that. I was so nervous. Give me another chance. And I did. And thankfully for me, they said, okay. And they took me back to the studio. And this time I got in the mindset of, I've got nothing to lose. I just need to be myself and turn it loose. And it was still bad, but it wasn't nervous bad. It wasn't just a disaster bad. And then they didn't let me leave. They hired me on the spot. So I learned a couple of things there. One is that I try to pass on to like Jake and other interns is just, relax, and whatever you do, just go ahead and do it the way you should. Don't be nervous about it. Just put it out there, whatever the best of your ability is now. Don't get all worked up about it. And then the other thing, and this can be difficult for me and many other people, is just sometimes you have to ask for what you want. And it was hard for me to go back in there and say, man, I blew it. Can I have another chance? But I did. And then I got the job. And since it was a one-person department, it was, 50 to 70 hours a week. So I know at one point I was just so run down, and my parents said, you got your foot in the door. You got the job. This is what you want to do. You love it. Maybe you need to take a break from college here and just work for a while. But I knew in my heart, if I stopped, I would never finish, and I wanted to finish. So I did. I did the final year and a half doing both, and graduated. And I was as proud of that as anything I've done. I was the first in my family to graduate, and my parents were so proud of me just for finishing. So that's how I got my start. And I was not very good. I got $10,000 a year, and I was thrilled to get that salary. And at the time, because I was a young knucklehead, and I remember thinking at one point, I must be pretty good. I mean, here I am, 21 years old, got this job already, but I would come to learn that I was cheap and available immediately. I mean, they needed somebody. They needed somebody to start right away. Guy was leaving, and I just stumbled into that opportunity, and then had enough nerve to go back in and do a little bit better, at least enough to get the job. But it wasn't because of some gift they saw in me, because I was just beginning and not very good.
What was the moment that you think that everything kind of clicked for you? Obviously, you are what you are now. Everybody likes watching WHO sports and things like that. But what was it the moment that you think you look back on it that, aha, I got this going. I think I could do this forever, and I'm good at it.
Well, I'll make this long story as short as possible. But after a couple of years there in Valdosta, I started a show called the very humbly named Sports Rep with Keith Murphy. And we started like a Football Friday show, because it was such a small operation where if you had an idea, they'd go, yeah, sure. It was a great place to learn, because there weren't high stakes. People didn't expect you to be really good. You could make a bunch of mistakes. The first year I was there, we didn't even have a teleprompter. So you'd have to up down your scripts all the time. But that's helped me the rest of my life. I don't panic when I lose the teleprompter, because the first year of my career, I didn't have one. So we had all that going for us. And then those shows did surprisingly well, but I think mostly because we were in a really sports loving market, Valdosta, especially with that high school football team, 2 high school football teams, Lowndes and Valdosta. So about 2 years in, they said, hey, we're going to transfer you up to Macon and make you the news anchor up there. And I was 23 years old at the time. They said, we're going to make you the news anchor and the news director. That was a bigger station. And I was so naive that I didn't realize I could say no. I mean, I just thought, well, this is what happens. It's like when your parents tell you you're doing something, you just do it. So I didn't want to go. I didn't want to leave sports. I didn't want to move to Macon. I loved Valdosta. I had all these friends there. I was like, I've been assigned to Macon. And I went. I didn't want to be in news. Nobody at the Macon station wanted me, because I was younger than all the people that I was suddenly in charge of. So I had that, those awkward moments, like where they would, at the end of the night, just invite everybody in the room to Applebee's except me. There was that kind of stuff going on. But over time, I did become close to the people there, and they accepted me after a while. But I was there doing news, and 2 things happened to me at that time. One, I became better at sports because I learned how to cover hard news. I learned I learned how not to find somebody guilty on air. I learned how to look up Freedom of Information Act files, and learned how to contact people about delicate subjects, all of that stuff that I had never been exposed to because I was so into sports. I just had my head buried in the sand when it came to the rest of the world. So I learned how to do a lot of skills, or a lot of things, skills, I guess, just in that you have to learn how to do them the right way. And those have helped serve me when sports becomes more hard news, which is more than I ever expected when I first started. There's a lot of times that happens. And then the other thing that happened was I just had this sense of, when I get back in sports, I will never take it so seriously again. I will look at it as the toy box of the newscast. I will realize that people are there for escapism, that although they take their sports seriously, I shouldn't take myself seriously. I need to have fun with it. People are there to have fun. They're there to get a break from all this stuff that I was covering in news, like murders and drownings and floods and just awful stuff. And that's the moment that changed me. I was like, I am going to get back in sports. So then I moved to Gainesville with the blessing of the station to just take a job while I looked for a sports job. So I reported news, and coincidentally at that time, 5 University of Florida co-eds were murdered the same week, and I covered that. So I was on that story. So that the second change happened then, and from time to time, people will see me pop up with a full head of hair and think that if Keith Murphy was younger and more handsome and spoke in a much higher pitched voice, I think that might be him. So I'll pop up from time to time in a Dateline or a story about those awful Gainesville murders. But at that time, I was thinking I'm going to take a high profile job somewhere where I can be near my parents, who I adored. But when I started covering those murders, I said, I'm going to the next job offer I get. I don't care where it is. The next job offer I get, I'm going there. The next offer was Ames, Iowa. And that's how I got there.
What was in Ames?
Play-by-play.
WI. Channel 5.
Okay.
The whole station was on campus then, and was, when I moved there, was owned by Iowa State. But I thought like Ames was a suburb right on Des Moines. I knew it was the Des Moines market. I thought,
right.
I told everybody, yeah, I'm going to Des Moines. When I got in the car, I kept thinking, am I driving the right way? Because I took the job over the phone. I hadn't even been to Iowa. So I'm pulling my U-Haul up here behind my Honda Civic. And Des Moines in my rear view mirror, and I'm driving. I'm like, where's this Ames?
This isn't Des Moines.
This is a long, I can't even see the buildings anymore. Where am I going? And then I got to Ames, and it was right as school was starting. I couldn't find an apartment. So I moved into, the station put me in something called the Lincoln Lodge. And it was not a nice place. Oh,
I've been to the Lincoln Lodge.
I'd walk across the street to that TikTok lounge, get chili. TikTok, maybe
Tip Top.
Yeah,
Tip Top.
sorry.
Been spending too much time on the
TikTok
brain here, bud.
TikTok's on the brain because of NIL. Yeah. I'd go across the street to that. So that's how I got there. But I thought I was moving to Des Moines. But at that time, the entire station was in Ames. It was owned by Iowa State University, and Channel 5 dominated Story County and North. And then channels 13 and 8 just owned Polk County and kind of the rest of the central Iowa and the South. But Channel 5 just had all the northern part of the ADI. But then at some point when I was there, it got sold to a different company. The university sold it, and they moved the operation to Des Moines primarily. History lesson?
Yeah.
The Lincoln Lodge actually had to live there for a bit. How long were you in the Lincoln Lodge then?
I was there for a week, and it felt like a year.
Lincoln Lodge. Anybody that's stayed at the Lincoln Lodge, like there's like a good inside joke, like Lincoln Lodge, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Look, my name is carved in there somewhere. Not really.
With your knife or with somebody else's knife? Someone got a hit out on Keith in Lincoln Lodge. He's like, what the hell is this place? Freaking serial killers out here. So you got here. So what year did you get to Ames?
I think Keith froze.
I think Keith might have frozen.
There he is. He's back.
We're good. Now you're unfrozen.
Froze?
All right. So Keith, what year did you get to Ames?
That would have been 1990.
Okay. So since you were coming in from out of state, obviously there's the Cyhawk rivalry, which is its whole thing now. Which is way bigger than it has ever been. But when you got here, what was your first kind of impression of the whole Cyhawk thing?
I got here right away, and one of the first things that happened was the Iowa State football game, and Iowa State was in the middle of that 15-game losing streak to Iowa. So, and coming from out of state, and it is different now, but I can't overstate like how much more of an impression I had of the Iowa Hawkeyes versus the Iowa State Cyclones. Just the national branding at that time was so different.
Yeah.
And the Cyclones, I really only knew through the NCAA tournament. You know, the Iowa State football team, I knew it existed, but you just didn't see that. You didn't see the team anywhere. And then I remember just being really taken aback by the difference in the stadiums. Like it's hard for young people now who see Jack Trice Stadium, especially since it's been bowled in,
right,
to look back at a picture of what that was like. When I got here, it was just a set of stands on each side, and then it was open on each end, and it was like a wind tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked nothing like it does now. And even though Kinnick Stadium wasn't what it is now, it was just quite a bit more big time looking than Jack Trice Stadium. So that was kind of the first impression I had there, that it seemed like a really one-sided rivalry in football.
Sure.
And that basketball was much more competitive and interesting. And it didn't take me long to realize too that we have this thing at the station called RVTV.
Yep.
And I started RVTV at Channel 5 as it was kind of a joke back in 1990. Not joke's the wrong word, but there was just no interest in the football game because Iowa State fans couldn't even fake enthusiasm at that point because it was hard to believe that you could win the game.
Right.
I mean, when you've lost 13 in a row, 14 in a row, that week was dead. So we kind of did this campy promotion. It's like the game is so big, I'm camping out at the stadium. So and this was a different era at that time, Iowa State just let us move this Cousin Eddie type RV that one of our engineers at Channel 5 had. We just parked it right there next to the field. And I stayed there the entire week. And the two guys I worked with, Rod Bodholt and Jeff Grummer, who I'm still great friends with, great guys, they were both married. So they would go home each night and I just lived there. And we did all our sportscasts from there, and people started showing up. And that was the start of RVTV, but it was started as a way to kind of create some non-existent enthusiasm about the game in almost tongue in cheek. This game is so big, we're camping out at the stadium. But
you're the only one there.
it did not have any energy back then. And that changed when Iowa State started winning. And, for the past 20 years, it's been pretty
competitive.
50-50.
Yeah.
It's been like 10-10 or so.
I was John back and forth with Chris Assel. Was it yesterday? I think, or about it or whatever, about the recent Cyhawk, because he tweeted out something along the lines of like, "Oh, Iowa State's got to start winning, or this thing's not going to matter anymore." Or whatever. That old trope or whatever. And I was like, I mean, I guess we could have been saying the same thing in the early 2000s when Iowa State won a bunch of them in a row, and Kirk Ferentz didn't get his winning record till what, like 2017 or something like that. He had a losing record till Iowa State. Up until then,
it took a while, and he had to change his approach to the game, because one of the things that Ferentz, who doesn't get enough credit for changing during his career, I mean, people see him as a stoic guy that just is resistant to change, but I think he has changed in some meaningful ways. And one of them was his approach to the Iowa State game is, this is just another game. Meantime, Dan McCarney had his guys, salivating and ready to run through a wall, and had them feeling the entire week like they were being overlooked and that they were being treated by everybody as second-class citizens, and those guys don't take you seriously. And McCarney had those guys just ready to do anything to win the game. And Ferentz's approach at that time was, we treat this game the same as we treat the Central Michigan game. And they couldn't match the emotion. And it didn't matter when there was a huge talent gap. But once that talent gap narrowed, it did matter. And Ferentz, to his credit, said, we have to change our approach to this game. It's a rivalry game. It's not like every other game.
Right.
And since he's done that, Iowa has been much better.
So you, because you were obviously there when it was totally one-sided, and now it's Cyhawk. The rivalry everybody here knows and loves. What's your overall kind of take on what's your overall thought on this, on Cyhawk as it stands now? Because I know we have a role to play in it for sure, and then we have the Iowa guys going back and forth. It's a whole big deal now compared to what it used to be.
I think it's great for the state of Iowa, and I think that I need reminding sometimes that the Cyhawk is not my Twitter feed, and the Cyhawk is not my Facebook responses. Because when we do go out with RVTV and we go to these small towns across Iowa, it has been an eye-opening experience for me to see that for most people, it's good natured fun. It's neighbors poking each other in a fun way. It's families divided, but in a let's have fun Saturday kind of way.
Sure.
And sometimes in my world of radio show and sound off and Twitter, I can feel like, God, this is bad for the state. This is so much negative energy and spite and hatefulness, but it's really not that. We're giving way too much attention to the niche of people that take it way too seriously. And I think overall it's a really good thing. And that's allowing for the fact that whoever wins this will say it's not whoever wins it will celebrate and have a great time. And whoever loses it just says, oh, it's not a conference game. This isn't that important to us anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just count on that every year. You just try to move on from it.
Yeah. Winner Stars Glow, and the other one, we didn't want to win that one anyways.
Well, we keep mentioning RVTV, and I think I know what your number one spot's going to be, but what are your top 5 RVTV locations over the years? Is number 1 Humboldt?
Albia or Humboldt? They're definitely 1, 2. Those have a little bit of sentimental attachment to Albia because they were such a small town and they kept asking us to come, and I just couldn't imagine what it would be like at Albia, but they were so persistent there, especially Joe at Thunder Country. And we said, we gotta go there. And we went there and they turned it out. I mean, it was just incredible. The last time we were there, they had Lee Greenwood close the show by singing God Bless America at the Welcome Back Soldier Monument. They're great. So those are the top 2. I'd have to think about the others to come up with another 3, but Albia and Humboldt are 1, 2, are ranked 1 and 2.
I kind of figured Humboldt would be up there.
See, so like I grew up in Eastern Iowa. I now live back in Eastern Iowa, closer to Dubuque. So I haven't really gotten to watch RVTV basically like ever. So I don't really know that too much. I mean, I know you guys hop in an RV and drive around and drink a bunch and stuff like I know that. like do you guys go over to the eastern part of the state too, or like?
We stay in towns that are in what's considered our viewing area, like our designated WHO 13 viewing area. We do when the game is in Iowa City, like it would have been last year if the Big Ten hadn't been so stupid for a long time. But the southern, and we go south and east when we go to Iowa City, and when the game is in Ames, we usually go north or west or northwest. Like this year. We'll be hitting towns more in the upswing. So, but we don't, other than Iowa City, we don't go over to towns that that don't watch us because we're doing live newscasts and if people show up like, what are you doing here? Why are you talking about the weather, Ed?
What the crap, Ed?
What the crap, Ed?
What the crap, Ed?
So you kind of and so like I mentioned Chris Hassel. I was going back and forth with him. You know, I guess what was like kind of mentoring him a little bit. Now seeing him go up to he's up on the big stage now doing his thing. You know, I'm sure we've got our good bud Jake down there too. You know, mentoring. What's it like for you mentoring kind of young people going through? And I know you talked a little bit about it before, kind of what you tell them, but
well, I enjoy that part of it, but like somebody like Chris Hassel, I mean, he's the only guy I've ever known. He's more comfortable when he's live on television than when he's off the air. The guy was born to be a sports anchor or a television personality. He's just a natural talent. The thing I have tried to do, if I've done any mentoring at all, is just like trying to encourage people to find what their strength is and then just go in that direction. Like Chris, I didn't make Chris talented. I didn't come up with ideas for him that often. I mean, he's just a great talent. Andy Fales, he's a great writer. He's very smart. So all I tried to do, if I did anything positive with them, it's not try to make them like me, not try to have them copy some national guy. Just find what it is you do and lean into it. Find out what you do well and then lean into it. And I think that's good advice for any profession, because to market yourself, you have to have some separation from what other people are offering, or try to have something unique. And a lot of people will tell you, if you're right-handed, spend all the time you can practicing with your left to learn to go left. But I think the advice to not do that is better advice. You can go both ways. There are books written about whatever your weakness is, spend all the time compensating for that. I think life's too short for that. I think you find out what it is you're good at and then find a way to do that most every day. So that's what I try to emphasize in our sports office. And that's what I would try to emphasize if I were like my dad was in carpet sales, and say, find out what it is you do well in this building and then go sell that.
Well, apparently Nathan's strength is putting away 12 tacos on a Tuesday.
Well, feels like there's probably a job in that. I don't know what it is, but props to you, Nathan.
There you go. And excellent job, Nate, because that gives us a good chance to plug our wonderful friends over to Stoss Bar and Grill in Ames, because we got a little we usually do it at the beginning of the show, but the Yodeling Pickle did not do our Stoss ad for us.
Maybe the Yodeling Pickle came from Stoss. We don't know.
Maybe it could have. That is fair enough. But they're actually, Taco Tuesday, they've got their $1.15 tacos. They have their 11 to 3 all you can eat tacos every single day. Just giving away food at this point in time.
Is that where Nathan was?
Probably. Where else can a dozen tacos? I mean, you're gonna be dropping some cash, but it's like $8 or $9 for unlimited tacos, 11 to 3 every day. Like, fantastic deal. You ever had a Stoss tacos, Keith?
I haven't, but I'm sure you're sending me a coupon or something.
We can get you something. Well, actually, I do know for sure that a taco truck is inbound, like in the next few weeks, anyways. That should be up and ready to go. So
is Shelby Houlihan going to be there?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, I'm sorry. She had to drop out of the Olympic trials. She's from Sioux City. She is the American record holder in the 1500 and the 5K.
Oh yes.
Okay. Okay. I remember
that she got the
bad burrito.
She believes it was from a pork burrito at a taco truck.
Well, good thing is that
cut this part. That was a lot of explanation for one.
Well, the good part is, even if there are steroids in Stoss burritos, like, none of us are Olympic athletes, and we need them. We need the extra muscle. So
it's not working. It's
more. It's only going in the middle right here.
I was second team all county.
No steroids needed. I mean,
you've mentioned that a time. No.
Keith, please bring up that sometime.
Pepsi and milk. Remember that.
Pepsi and milk. Please somehow just sneak it into your sportscast tonight. That you were second team all county. I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if you're allowed to improv like that, but please sneak it in there so we have just a good little Easter egg for it.
I'm going to do my best. I'll find a way to. Oh yeah, I can get that in.
Okay.
All right.
We're going to figure that out, and we will have
YouTube TV to WHO.
Yeah. Say we will be having that. We'll be having our eyes on that for sure.
I don't believe that you guys watch, or this would not have surprised you. And you were not ready for the yodeling pickle.
No,
Sadly,
I was
there's not a way to turn it off once you started.
There's no off.
No off button.
But see, at least that would be easier though, because John Walters committed to using the word chuggy in his in one of his broadcasts this fall.
Yeah, I was wondering. I heard him when he did, and I thought, is John having a stroke? That was because you told him to use that.
We told him to use chuggy.
Yeah, he's going to do it again. Do it this fall. What? There's something. Oh, he's got something saved maybe for the Iowa game if we do in fact pull off a W. But we'll save that for the good times,
secret or whatever. But so yours is a lot easier. You just got to work in that you were second team all county.
I think it's okay to do that because it's really not that great of an accomplishment, I feel like, so it won't sound too douchey. You know, if you're finding a way to shoehorn in that you were first team all county, but that's on the edge of douche.
But the ironic value of second team all county makes it excellent. You can slide it in there, and it's just good material.
And I will.
I'm excited for it. Let's see. Do you guys got any more questions for Keith, or should we move on to our trivia game?
Well, I got you real quick, but I just want to know how hard it is for you, because I know you see you mentioned your Facebook and Twitter feed and all that, and I'm sure it's just sometimes a cesspool. But to put it, I mean, you can see like the people like fighting back and forth, right? So like you post something like Iowa State, or you post something Iowa, but somebody like accuses you to be like an Iowa fan or an Iowa State fan. But I mean, how hard is it for you to like kind of be that impartial line in between? Because you got to do both, right? Because like Des Moines and Iowa State are huge Iowa State and Iowa markets, and you have to be the guy right down the middle. I mean, how hard is it for someone like that? Because I mean, you have lived in Iowa since 1990 now, so you're 31 years being here. You've met a lot of good people from Iowa State. You've met a lot of good people from Iowa, and you know they're your friends, and you're the guy in the middle.
I think what I've learned over the years, and I've learned a lot by trial and error and making mistakes and trying to learn from them and maybe help somebody else not repeat my mistakes. I try to do that with the kids, you know, just to
repeating your mistakes
in life, not repeat the mistakes. Yeah. Take the course of correction, learn from me. Here's the hacks type thing. And one of the things I've learned is there's a certain percentage. They're so steeped in confirmation bias that there's no way you're going to convince them. They hear you say something positive about Iowa or Iowa State, whichever the opposite is. They only hear what they feel like is your rooting fan interest in their rival. Right. And when you give a compliment to the team that they root for, they don't notice that because that's just the way it is. That's just accepted. You're just saying the natural order of things. So you have to let that part of it go and realize that those people you're not going to talk into. There's no reason to get in a fight with. Right. Most people, though, if they're engaging in a way that's polite or at least civil, sometimes I'll read something from somebody and think, okay, you have a point. I understand. I can see it your way. If you keep an open mind and you're not just immediately defensive. Yeah. So I try to do that. The other thing I think is important, and this is why I told Chris Hassel when he worked for us, don't hide that you're a Hawkeye fan. Yeah. Because you grew up that way. That's who you are. That is being honest with your viewers. Now, Cyclone fans have every right to expect when you cover a Cyclone event that you're going to be fair. They have every right to expect that. And that's your professional obligation. But to pretend, as many in the media do, that they're not fans or they don't have a rooting interest when in their heart of hearts they do, especially those who are alums, I think that's disingenuous. So, you know, John Sears graduated from the University of Iowa. He has people he cares about very much who went to Iowa State. The guy's as fair as anybody I know, but there are some Cyclone fans and some who work at Iowa State that will never see him in any kind of fair light because they see him as a Hawkeye. And of course, they're conveniently forgetting that, you know, Steve Malchow once worked at Iowa and Pete Taylor went to Iowa. And, you know, there's a whole Dan McCarney played for the Hawks and was an assistant for a long time. Dan Gable went to Iowa State before he went to Iowa. You know,
John Walter's first game covered was an Iowa game.
He went to Drake. That's pretty good.
He went to Drake.
Switzerland. Yeah. I think you have to be honest about stuff like that. Like my wife graduated from Iowa State. We've had 2 sons graduate from the University of Iowa. That's pretty good for me because that seems like, okay, that's a 2 and 1, but that probably balances out. And then I think the other thing you have to do is just realize you can't be completely objective. You can't. It's human nature prevents it. You can be fair, but to be 100% objective at all time, that's hard because we're human. Like I really liked Fred Hoiberg. I covered him in high school. I didn't set out to like Fred Hoiberg. I didn't feel like, but there was a point where I reached where it's like, okay, I'm going to have trouble being objective about Fred. I really like him. There have been other coaches. I really like Tom Davis. I like Kirk Ferentz a lot. I know TJ Otzelberger pretty well from way back, and I like him. Sometimes that you just have to be honest about that. So you have to give full disclosure. Like once in a while, when I go on to criticize a coach about not in a personal way, but about something they've done, sometimes I think you have to say in full disclosure, I respect Kirk Ferentz, or I think he's done a good job. Just be honest about it. And then people, I think, will take what you say and consider it for what it is.
Yeah.
I think too often, too many of us in the media falsely believe that we can, or we try to sell people on we're completely 100% objective. And research is showing that fewer people have faith in the United States media right now than at any point in our history. We are the lowest ranking country in the world. Just 29% of the people trust the American media. That's awful. But I think some of it is hiding the agendas, passing opinion off as fact. The cable shows do that a lot. Yeah. And for many reasons, people have gotten distrustful. And I think it starts with just being transparent, full disclosure, giving an honest assessment of where you're coming from. I think people really appreciate that.
Well, and like you said, like with a guy like Chris Hassel, like part of what makes him so entertaining, what makes him really good at what he does is he's unabashedly a Hawkeye fan. That's why we love going back and forth with him on Twitter and stuff like he would not be the Chris Hassel we know if he tried to pretend he wasn't a Hawkeye fan.
And he's the negative fan. I'm sure you have negative Cyclone fans. Chris, in his sketches over the years on Sound Off, he was harder on Iowa than he was Iowa State, because he's the negative fan that sees the negative and it drives him crazy. Like, so of course, I'm sure those in the Iowa State administration and athletic offices, they probably don't see it that way. But the people over at Iowa, they have as much critical disdain for Chris as anybody does, because they felt like he was unfair. But he was kind of equal opportunity on that stuff. But he's that fan that is more upset by a loss than he is happy about a win.
Mm-hmm. He gets ripped apart by Iowa fans more than
he does all the time.
All the time. And he's just like, what the hell?
I think as it like last fall, I can't remember. He's like something he referred to Spencer Petras as a malfunctioning jugs machine.
Oh man. Yeah. And that's a lot of those fans feel that way too, but they don't say it out loud. And that's going to be Chris. And if there's anything I've seen in the last year and a half, it's some of what's happened in America along several different topics that we don't need to dive into here.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's just made me appreciate, like, there's real hate in the world, and then there's rivalry hate.
Yep.
Right.
There are real problems, and then there's, these two people mad about whether Fran McCaffrey is a good coach or not. I mean, I would like to think more than ever we should all realize what's important and what real hate is versus sports hate. Sports hate is not the same thing. I mean, I would like to think 100%. That when it counts in Iowa, we would all come together. We would not get caught up in this nonsense.
Yep. Was it like last summer or two? I've been 2 summers ago, probably. I was up. I work in construction. I'm a project manager in construction. At the time, I was working on a job up near Hampton, Iowa, which is way north. And I stopped at this Quick Start on the way home, and sure as shit, Fran McCaffrey walks out of the gas station walking over or whatever, and I had a wide right shirt on, like I think our it was either an Iowa State shirt or a wide right shirt on. I can't remember which one. And we kind of exchanged glances, and he looked at me, and we both gave each other the shit look, and like the creepy like fuck you, whereas we're like walking by or whatever. I don't disrespect Fran. Like he's still I wouldn't if he was broke down the side of the road, I'd help him.
He probably actually was wondering why you were staring at him.
Well, that's honestly that's probably right. Actually, I may have misread that situation. But anyways, so but you can we exchanged our glances or whatever, but so that's the rivalry hate you were talking about or whatever. But I think especially now with the way social media is now, it seems like the rivalry hate gets either misconstrued or expanded beyond where it should be as far into some sort of actual hate. I don't know if I've ever heard of an Iowa State or an Iowa fan getting into physical altercations, maybe a bar after a game, but but not like an actual I hate this guy because he that thing or whatever. I don't know. Social media, it seems like the last couple of years especially it's flaring it up where maybe it seems like that's what it is where it's real hate, not just rivalry hate. And sometimes it's hard to interpret a little bit, and people read it differently, and I don't know. It's hard to explain, I guess.
Social media is bad, is what you're getting at.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yes,
well, it's so impersonal. I mean,
yes,
oftentimes people will write things that they would never say to your face.
Oh, 100%.
And a lot of times tone gets lost. This even happens to me in text messages. Somebody will send me a text message and I'll read it and I'll think, God, is he mad at me? And it's not. It just kind of seemed abrupt, or it seemed clipped. And just when you're not talking to somebody, and that's happening too often. I mean, and that's why I do love this part of RVTV is face to face, watching people interact and talk instead of going at each other on Twitter, especially those who are anonymous. They can be especially nasty on a keyboard because they don't have any accountability. I mean, at least, my name's on it, what I'm saying and where it's coming from, but some people don't do that. And I think the anonymous people on Twitter tend to be the nastiest. I'm surprised on Facebook, just what can happen on the messages, and especially if politics are involved. Oh man. And these are people whose names are on, you can go check out and see their whole family and everything. Sometimes you're like, wow, I can't believe you just wrote that.
Well, you were doing a heck of a job this summer reporting all that stuff, and you're sharing statistics and all that. So basically just anything like the state would share and all that stuff. And I randomly would read through the comments, and people were like, why stick to sports or this and that? And you're just like, I'm just sharing information to help.
Literally just copying and pasting graphs from the Iowa State website.
trying to be useful. And by the way, I would stick to sports, but there aren't any sports.
There's
right
no
now.
Sports. There's no sports.
Just trying to be useful. But even that, I mean, there was some negativity, but I can't tell you how many people just appreciated just getting the information presented without a slant to it. Because people just feel like everybody was trying to make you feel like, in the case of COVID, that COVID-19 was going to be the end of us all, or that it's nothing and we all just need to ignore it. And of course, it was somewhere in the middle. It wasn't the end of us, and it wasn't something to be ignored. But you had two extremes here, like most everything in America right now. And they didn't want to hear from the other side. And the only thing they wanted to do is tell the other side, you are wrong and you're stupid.
Yep.
So this is an issue that I've since taking over at Wide Right and becoming a more public person. One thing that I struggle with it a lot more. I used to struggle with it more. I still do once in a while, is looking at negative comments and taking them to heart you can see 100, 200 positive comments and the one negative comment from somebody where it just cuts you deep.
Right.
I don't. Do you ever have an issue? Does that ever bother you, or have you kind of learned to tune that stuff out? Or I'm sure you see plenty of that stuff.
I think it's human nature to feel like that. I mean, Fred Hoiberg told me that once, that he could get 500 compliments and one criticism, and the criticism is the only thing he would focus on and could think about. And, you know, this is a guy that's basically had the all-American life.
Yeah.
What I try to do, and I've gotten better at is better as I've gotten older and hopefully wiser, is first look at it as much as you can objectively and say, is there a point here? Is there something I can take from this and learn? And if it's just no, if there is no point, and it's not said with any kindness, you just have to let that go. You just have to realize that does nothing for you, and there's no point to it. Once in a while, somebody offer criticism and it stings. And even if it's presented in a douchey fashion, you can look at it and say, you know, I kind of see a point there. It's hard for me to admit this, but next time I could do it a little bit better. And take that as well. Sometimes you have to disregard it. Sometimes I think it's healthy to take that criticism and learn something from it. But I think most importantly, don't forget all those compliments.
Yep.
You know, life's too short to give short attention to all those people that have taken the time to say something nice to you, tell you they appreciate you, or even if it's somebody in your family and they're taking the time to tell you they care about you or they love you, or that's the real fuel. That's the most important stuff. So don't lose sight of that, even if there is some negative comment that can help you become a better person or a better professional. Use that. But if there's nothing to it, disregard it and get back to the compliments.
Jason Eastwell checked in. Suck your job. We need to do better. So thank you, Jason.
Right on cue.
Thank you for that. If you guys don't have anything else for Keith as far as questions go, we'll get to our trivia games here.
I hate to be the reason that you would be late to talk about your football career on WHO, might as well jump in.
Jared could probably dig up some highlights he could probably find your old high school tape and we could show Keith Murphy highlights on here.
Oh, hang on. Let's see here. Look at it.
Oh, hey, what we got here? There we go. Hey.
Yeah.
The only Hall of Fame or the only highlight we need right there.
Right there, baby. I'm disappointed you don't have your second team all county plaque though. You'd think he'd have gotten a piece of wood with some metal on that.
That's not even mine. But for a moment, I had you believe him.
It's just a different Keith Murphy.
Engraved his own little thing on there in the front there.
All right. So we're going to first up is going to be Aiden versus the 90s, where we have a bunch of 90s trivia because Aiden, our child producer Aiden White, is just a young pup. So are
you telling me that Aiden is going to talk more? How much can I hear from this guy?
Aiden is about to do a lot of talking. This is his portion of the show.
Yeah.
All right. I'm ready to hear from Aiden.
Ordinarily, he's a lot more busy producing the show, going back and forth between clips. It's been a pretty easy show for Aiden so far. So we're gonna make sure we get him involved. So this is.
I'm not even sure. Aiden, do you have arms?
Nope. I'm actually just
he's pushing buttons by just bashing his head on the keyboard. All right, so here is Aiden versus the 90s.
There's his arms right there.
There's his arms. Yeah, he does have arms. Just
before the accident,
he did.
Yeah,
he did have arms.
You know who doesn't have arms? I won't play it.
All right. First question. This is a football question. So, after starting his coaching career at Iowa Wesleyan, and then he took a job at Valdosta State and then to Kentucky, this coach is considered the pioneer of the modern air raid offense.
It is Mike Leach.
Nope. Keith?
Yeah, the other guy.
Hal Mummy.
Hal Mummy. There it is. Boom. Mike Leach
did coach at Valdosta State, though.
Mike Leach is a disciple of Hal Mummy.
Oh, gotcha.
He also did coach at Iowa Wesleyan as well.
Yes, he did.
With Dana Holgerson.
Mm-hmm. And Dana Holgerson is also kind of listed as a Hal Mummy thing. Okay. Next up. Sega was famous for making the Genesis video game console. What console followed the Genesis and turned out to be Sega's last video game console?
I got this.
It was released in 1998 and basically killed Sega.
Yep.
Ooh, I don't have this. Aiden?
I don't think I got anything either.
Got nothing?
I got nothing.
Nothing? All right, Matthias.
The Dreamcast.
It is the Sega Dreamcast.
Man.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that was my next guess.
I'm sure it was.
All right. Let's see here. I had one more. Okay. This might be kind of a layup, so if it's too easy, I'll probably ask another one just for fun.
No, that'd be good.
All right.
We need a softball.
This kitchen appliance introduced in 1994, countertop kitchen appliance introduced in 1994, was built as the lean, mean, fat grilling machine.
We still have one.
Keith, you can. It's either you or Aiden can guess first.
It's the George Foreman grill.
It is the George Foreman grill.
Aiden, you didn't know that?
You didn't know that?
Based off the description, no.
The lean, mean, fat grilling machine wasn't a dead giveaway
On the countertop. No. A countertop grill. That's all you had to. That's.
He didn't say grill. You said countertop appliance.
Countertop chicken. I said countertop kitchen appliance, and then lean, mean, fat grilling machine.
George Foreman has made a fortune on that machine.
Oh my god, he's made more on that than he ever did boxing. Oh,
for sure.
Not even close. Freaking Aiden didn't
lose to Muhammad Ali one time.
Terrible.
Makes a bunch of grills.
You guys act like 1 week I'm just gonna randomly know all this random 90s trivia.
Well, you know what game is coming every week, and yet you still don't know any of this.
You need to start studying.
How am I supposed to know it?
Research.
Right. Yeah.
How do you think they found out I was second team all county?
Jared. All right. Since apparently Aiden, that was apparently not a layup. That was all three of our questions for Aiden versus the 90s. So I'm going to play the intro again because it's hilarious. Let me see. Oh, wait, there it is.
I'm really concerned why you were looking over your mic.
Because so my webcam is right here, and it's directly over top of the button I need to push to get to the videos.
Yeah.
So it's I have to do this.
My head is so much bigger than the three of you. I should have backed up a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, so
that'll work.
Aiden, did you get one? Are you still on your Hall of Fame average of 1 for 3?
No, I'm on a cold streak.
0 for 3. But Keith, I believe you got 2 of them.
Yeah, I didn't get that Dreamcast.
Yeah, the Dreamcast is a tough one.
Now you know for the future.
Yep. All right. Our next trivia game is basically the opposite, where Aiden.
None of us will know anything.
None of us will know any of it. So you want to introduce? We got old heads, new trends. You played the video.
That's great.
All right.
Josh, easily the best old looking dude in that whole graphic. Looks like he's a future 4-term state senator from Utah. All right.
That would have been funny if you used my actual picture.
All right. Let's
Ready
see.
for the first one?
First one. Let's do it.
All right. What album did Taylor Swift announce she was going to re-release this November?
Ooh.
Oh,
I have read this. God,
22.
No. It's one of her old ones. It's the one that has like Tim McGraw and Teardrops on My Guitar. What the hell is the name of that album?
I don't know.
This is a total shot in the dark. Is it like Breathless?
No. Fearless came out.
Fearless is the one I was thinking of. Okay. That's the one that already came out. Okay.
Yeah.
Oof.
Big Swiftie, so.
I got nothing.
I got nothing.
The answer was Red, which actually 22 is on that album.
Isn't Red though? I thought Red was her first pop album though. Like why?
She's re-releasing all of her music because of of
the music rights thing. Yeah.
So she's releasing Taylor's version.
Okay. Fearless was the one
I get a 0.00001 of a point there for
it helps you sleep
for the 22 reference. Okay. What's the next one, Aiden?
All right. Who is the most followed male TikToker?
Mike Tyson.
No.
Is it? Can we get a hint?
No. I don't know. I don't know what you would want for it.
Are they only famous on TikTok, or are they famous from somewhere else as well?
I believe it's just TikTok.
Just TikTok. Okay.
Yeah.
Oof. This is gonna be.
As far as I know, anyway.
No idea.
I got nothing.
He goes by the name Kaban Lame. Would you like to see his most famous TikTok?
Yes, I want to see his most famous TikTok.
Okay, 1 second.
Oh boy.
So this has 264 million views, I believe.
What?
What? They're approaching like Gangnam Style territory. What's he doing here?
Is he slicing a banana?
Cutting a banana. This guy. This guy. Okay, I've seen this guy before. He's like, oh yeah, you can just open the banana. Yeah.
Yeah, he finds all the people doing the stupid things and he just shows the easiest way to do it. And he's like,
oh, he like where you take like the super like the weird life hacks or whatever that make no sense. He's just like, no, you could just peel the banana.
I didn't know his name. I didn't know his name.
But yeah, I've definitely seen that guy. Yeah.
264 million views for opening a banana.
This guy's got it figured out. To like
2021.
Taking my whole life hacks explanation about going to your strengths. He would have just said, "Do what you're good at."
All he's doing is pointing out other people being stupid. And
3 million views right there. Do what you're good at.
He just made an entire career out of like that guy does something stupid and then just doing a not stupid, and that's his whole career now.
Wait till he gets hold of the yodeling pickle.
I'm curious to see how he's gonna simplify that to like, oh, instead of having a yodeling pickle, you could just have this instead.
A yodeler with the pickle.
A yodeler with a pickle in his hand.
Just a yodeling cucumber. Skip the whole pickling process.
Yeah, yodeling cucumber. All right, so we have a third one, or is this
one more?
Is this an Urban Dictionary?
Urban Dictionary. This is a word, not the definition, but the word.
It's a word. We have to figure out what the definition is.
Yeah, or it's more of a phrase, I guess.
Okay.
So
now we're in my wheelhouse.
There you go. All right, the phrase is down bad.
Oh, I've heard this before. It's down bad. It's like I'm trying to think how to define it. Like I could point it out. This is like the Supreme Court's definition of porn, where it's like I don't know, I can't tell you what it is, but I know what it looks like.
That really took a turn.
No, that is how the Supreme Court defined porn. Is like,
well, I believe that for 100%.
Would you like it in a sentence?
Yes.
Something like so. I've seen like there's a Twitter account called Guys Down Bad, which it's the guys getting turned down on Tinder. So it's like, so
when you said down bad, I was thinking of a song.
So like down bad is like you're like
embarrassing rejection,
or like on a string of bad luck, kind of, or unfortunate events. A series of unfortunate events can be renamed in 2021 as down bad.
Not really, but
no,
you're on a cold streak with the women. I don't know. You're down bad.
What is?
Yeah, that's probably the closest to it.
Is it? Oh.
So here, I'll use it in a sentence. This is straight from urbandictionary.com. So it says, Guy 1, yo, did you see that Jack got rejected by Ashley again? Guy 2, at this point, he's down bad. She friend-zoned him months ago.
Hey.
So the definition is the act of sacrificing your morals and reputation to try and interact with someone romantically.
On a cold streak with women, you got to end that cold streak.
That's pretty close, yeah.
Fair enough.
Close when enough. You can't get a hit, you got to bunt to get on base.
I did not even know the Urban Dictionary had these kind of terms.
But before the broadcast started, though, you just like came up with Mississippi mudflap and Oklahoma steamer out of nowhere. You're like, I don't know if those are words, and sure as shit, both of them were in Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, we can't share
and one of them. One of them was mega gross. It was super gross.
If you guys get bored and want to look up Oklahoma steamer,
it was
straight from Keith Murphy.
Keith claims he claims he made that up, but
you could take a state and
put steamer on
like the Vermont vacuum. I don't know if it's a term. It might be.
Well, let's look.
That would be the most Hail Mary thing I've ever heard of in my life, as far as looking up this in the Urban Dictionary.
All right, you're good. Vermont vacuum does not exist.
Congratulations, Keith! You found the end of the internet.
Thank
you. Almost as impressive as second team all county finding the end of the internet. But yeah, so that was old heads. We should have Keith try to figure out what cheesecake means.
No.
Urban Dictionary?
Urban Dictionary, yes. All right, so that was old heads, new trends. All right. I don't know why this just clicked in my head that you called me Old Man River because I'm standing in front of a river. I don't know why that just clicked in my head now, but I feel like it should have earlier.
Literal.
Literally just an old dude standing in front of a river.
Literally an old man in front of a river.
All right. We got anything else left for Keith? He's got he's got a very important newscast to do. I think.
We'll let you get back to work since since you work past 8:30 at night. We don't. So
yeah, nope.
Oh, I know. I'm working till 11 and then I'm going over to Cooney's. Have you guys been to Cooney's?
I don't know what that is.
It's a pub.
Oh, I mean, it sounds like a bar. But
you like Guinness?
You just going by yourself or?
No, I wish I was because I'm going with Scott Sipker.
Well, can't all be winners.
Iowa State grad.
Yeah, we'll give him that. He's got true. Yeah, it could be worse.
He is that. Yes.
Like when you're searching for a compliment for something. Yeah, he is. Well, he's
got that going. I guess.
He is that.
Can't dispute that. Let's leave it at that.
All right. I think we'll wrap her up for this week. Thank you, Keith, for coming on the Nightcap. We really appreciate it. It's a ton of fun.
My pleasure. You guys keep up the good work and hopefully get Jake Bren back to you as soon as possible.
Please don't.
Keep him and then make sure you sneak in that second team tonight. I'll be watching.
Yeah, we got it.
I will get that in tonight.
Desperately want
to take us out of here. It's a callback. Coming full circle. He really brings it home, doesn't he?
He does. That's a first team all county pickle right there. That's what that is.
That's a shot at my second team status.
Jeez.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching this episode of Nightcap. Thank you again, Keith. Everybody have a great rest of your night. Watch Keith on the news because apparently we didn't.
Yeah.
Watch him.
No idea if I'm going to say second team all county.
No, don't worry.
Watch him so we don't have to. I don't know. All right, everybody. Have a good evening. Have a great rest of your week. Good 4th of July weekend. Go State.
Good night, folks.